Aloha, everyone. Today was basically a day of what I was expecting and waiting for as the market ran into that overbought territory. Like I told you, and like you knew, the Russell 2000 NASDAQ were up 8 straight sessions in a row. On basically half the time on below average volume, the other half time on above average volume. So even though, like I stated, it was a average to below average overall, if you really take everything into consideration, it was a nice day on the 13th overall, but now we have a beginning of a slight pullback. So this is the good news. I do not, am not, and do not think we have a top right here. However, everything I've told you about, the utility stocks, the gold stocks, the silver stocks, the oil stocks, the consumer non-durable stocks, and the aerospace and defense stocks, those taking the leads over the solars lately. The biotech keeps on going. So I don't think that it's necessarily over, but like I said, these are warning signs to tell you that it might get choppy here. Still, all I'm going to do today is put on my hedge on the SRTY, because the Russell 2000 was only down 1.07%, was down 1.07% today. Nasdaq was down 0.82%. With the Russell 2000 down over 1%, it once again is leading to the downside on a down day. So on SRTY, I'm going to add 5% to what the very small, like 1%, I believe, of the account capital is in it. So another 5% is going to go into this. I want to show you the volume on SQQQ. You can see it's once again the heaviest ever. I don't know exactly what that means. UVXY, TVIX volume was strong today again, stronger than the volume on the way down. So we may want to watch this. Now, what I'm going to do is if SRTY, excuse me, when you look at the IWM or the Russell 2000, if it closes below the 50-day moving average tomorrow and closes near the bottom half of the intraday range, and or does it in the next couple days, another 10% of SRTY will be added. But for right now, it's just an overbought market. We got to see how we react. If we break down below the 50-day moving average on above average volume, 10% SRTY is going to be added. But for now, it's only 5%. On the sell side, there's only one full sell, which indicates that, hey, maybe this is a healthy pullback. CAK, it was a shitty long signal. It was based on that momentum of hot charts were going to continue or maybe start in the energy stocks. Obviously, that did not happen. We were already out of 75% of it. We're getting rid of the rest. And DHT, once again, like I said, I didn't love any of these setups. I just wanted to see if the hotness of the technical patterns of these small stocks could continue, and right now DHT is a 75% still holding above the 751 ultimate lows. And speaking of all that, I'm going to go to ARWR. This was the best setup passed on, and that of course obviously is now biting me in my ass. On this day, ARWR showed up in my BOP scans, showed up in both of my BOP scans. And I sat and I stared at this damn chart. I stared at all that accumulation, stared at that nice tight trading range, flat base, saw the first pocket pivot point signal, second pocket pivot point signal, and was like, you know what, because of below average volume, I got to pass. I got nervous. Like I said, I spent a long time deciding if I was going to take the stock long or not that day. I didn't get it. The next day, boom, we got the breakout. But we got huge volume. It wasn't up a huge amount. So I went ahead and put in a limit order right around the 435 area. It obviously didn't come down and touch it for a few days, so I got rid of that order. And as you can see, at one point it got down to 437. 2 cents away from the 435 order. So even if I would have kept my limit order on the books, even if I would have done it 1 cent above the open 435, 436, which is a pattern of mine, I would have missed it by 1 cent. And ARWR is one of the smoothest uptrending stocks in the entire uptrend, never closing below the 50-day moving average in any kind of scary fashion, as you can see, trending the entire way higher. Well, the big point about that is that one of the signs of a market possibly topping is when I get climax parabolic tops. Well, you can see after a 387% gain in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months and a week or two, week and a half, 5 months and a week and a half, which averages out to about a 800%, 850% annual gain. ARWR is having an extended price move with the highest volume of its entire intraday pattern. Now, for those of you that did take a market order with ARWR back here in October, I would say maybe sell 33%, because this is a huge volume. This is not necessarily a 25% sell with a 387% gain from that day. If you would have gotten long on that day, past the great signal, you would now be up 344%. So definitely 33% profit-taking signal, since we haven't had any besides here if you wanted to do one with the close below 20-day moving average with the red bop. But this is a beautiful, beautiful chart and stock to study. This should have been a past big winner of the future, or actually of the current. All we had to have had was above average or average volume here, and ARWR would have been taken that day. Lesson learned: with a chart that hot, that much green in the bop, that much accumulation and or green in the volume, and that kind of tight consolidation price action, a pocket pivot point signal in a stock that's part of the biotech group, which has got number one or number two based on relative strength during this uptrend, you got to take it, low volume or not, when it's that tight. And, you know, some of those stocks, let's say now, would remind me off the top of my head is like RCPT. If RCPT continues to move sideways for a few more weeks, this market pulls back and then breaks out a very tight pattern on low volume. If it has max green bop or increasing bop on that day, it's going to be taken. All right, everybody, that's it. CAK full sell, DHT 75%, SRTY going to add 5%. We'll see what happens tomorrow.